Pyongyang is sending up to 30,000 more troops to bolster Russian forces along the front lines. North Korea initially sent some 11,000 troops to Russian territory last year. Russia's getting yet more help from North Korea in its ongoing invasion of Ukraine. According to Ukrainian intelligence, officials say thousands of those North Korean fighters were either killed or wounded.
You clicked for tanks getting ambushed. You're in the right place. Here's the question: when a mechanized column drives into a prepared kill zone, what breaks first? The armor, the comms, or the morale? In this episode, we dissect the ambush blueprint step by step: the bait, the choke, the crossfire, and the silent finish. Stay with me as we track the first hit and the last vehicle to move. Which node would you target first, lead, middle, or rear? Comment your choice below. You saw the flames later. The fight was locked in long before. 17 nights of wire, sensors, and a plan that punished any driver who trusted speed over discipline. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. The blueprint was clean. Interlocking mine belts set like ribs across 3 square miles. Narrow lanes left open on purpose, the only ground that looked friendly. Artillery guns pre-registered to numbers, not guesses. A reconnaissance net tied to secure comms, small drones on loops, ground sensors buried shallow, spotters counting axle lines and track marks. On paper, a 60-tank spear with carriers and elite infantry should rip past a line like this. Mass can break thin points. But the clock matters more than the head count. If you set the tempo, the punch lands on empty air.
Ukraine is fighting not just Russia, but North Korea directly, and Ukraine's allies have not responded.
Now that troops are involved, we have to expect that Kim Jong-un is going to be asking for more from Russian return than he would have received simply for providing artillery, ballistic missiles, and other weapons. So this takes and extends the war both into another country, but also takes and raises the stakes for the United States and its allies.
The minefield had a brain. Alternating anti-tank charges. Pressure plates that punished weight, not luck. Triggers linked to cue fires the second a lane got crowded. Lanes groomed to bend columns toward funnels where aim points were already stored. Modern doctrine keeps it simple: fix, then finish. Mines do the fixing. Precision fires do the finishing. That's the engineering logic you see in NATO manuals: shape the route, deny choice, then apply force where it hurts most. Once the lead section crossed the line and the rear committed, the choke formed. Steel accordion. Motion died. Target stacked, hull to hull. Comms turned noisy and slow as crews tried to talk over the blast and smoke. The ISR loop ran tight. Drones updated fresh grids. Ground sensors kicked when engines shook the soil. Spotters flagged the next 3 vehicles, not the last one hit. Artillery and anti-armor waited at the funnels, tubes slew left, slew right, ready. The first blast wasn't the win. It was the starter pistol. Armor rolled from hide sights. Guns spoke in short bursts. Airburst rounds cut the gaps where infantry would try to dismount. Edge gone. Lanes turned to traps. Cohesion cracked before armor did. Ukraine didn't chase the spear, it told it where to step and when to speak. But then the second act hit, the counterstrike that made the minefield feel like the quiet part. What breaks first in a kill sack? Not steel. The net. Deny comms and the rest follows. Explosions pin the column. Then the air turns hostile. EW units flood the band and the formation's eyes dim. Drone feed stutter. GPS drifts a few car lengths at a time. Inside the lead tanks, the tactical picture goes dark and stale. Drivers slow. Gunners second guess. That pause is the opening. Meanwhile, the enemy throws suicide drones to grab tempo back. They streak low, hunting tubes and antennas. Counter-battery fires in short, hard bursts to swat launch teams. Oplot tanks move in staggered lines, hulls offset under the EW umbrella, guns ready to cut at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. The push that looked bold now walks on glass. The sequence is tight. Artillery fires in pulses, not a constant roar, so corrections land clean and fresh. Armor hunts flanks, not the front, chewing at sprockets and idlers. Airburst munitions shred the gaps where dismounts try to form. Sniper pairs and RPG teams lie cold in scrub and culverts, waiting for command nodes to flare with radio checks. Timing becomes a weapon. When target updates drop on a strict cadence, the fires stay current and the column never gets that one quiet minute to reform. By the time a crew hears "move," the grid has moved. Then the decapitation play. Leadership vehicles betray themselves by rhythm, how often they key up, where they sit in the stack, who pivots when they move. Those become the first cuts. Orders fragment. Platoons turn into knots. Hold and surge infantry move only when tempo collapses. They hit blind sectors, grab wounded leaders, and pull intact radios and tablets. With drones blinded and the net fractured, only morale is left. Do crews stay or bail? The silent finish arrives. Hatches pop. Tracks sit hot and empty. Command packets change hands, and a 72-hour intel window opens for the next fights. The edge here wasn't a bigger gun. It was pace, denial, and the choice to wait for the break, then drive through. If you want the mindset that wins these fights, subscribe now. Strength starts before first contact. You shape the ground, set the noise, and own the clock. Fix with earth and wire. Blind with jamming and false echoes. Finish with timing so clean the target runs out of options, not armor. So what would you hit first in a kill? Sack, lead, center, or rear? Comment your choice below and subscribe to join a community that studies real combat, not myths. We break tactics down to the bones and leave the hype out. Next episode, we test whether this method scales against dispersed columns and decoys. New routes, feeder roads, dummy heat, and gaps you can't see yet.